Hello everyone, this is Chase the Channel. My name is Kirill and we talk about watches here. Today we have a fresh Mudmaster model, which we talked about in the news release. For the first time in this series of G-Shocks, which are predisposed to the harshest conditions, Bluetooth has been added. And by the way, not only Bluetooth, there are also a few interesting additions. We'll take a look at all of this today and find out more. GWG-B1000-3A. You can purchase them at my store, chasterclub.com. The link will be in the description. And we are greeted by quite a compact Mudmaster. The dimensions have clearly decreased, but this huge pile of protrusions and various screws on the case remains. Look, from all sides. There are 5 buttons, 2 on the left, 2 on the right, and a light button at the bottom. There are 4 protrusions on the glass. 2 additional dark green ones on the left and right. Triple sensor. Both steel polymer material and carbon. Well, everything is used here. Carbon inside. We understand this from the inscription on the back cover. Special mechanism protection. Outside is steel. Here we have, for example, a steel bezel and so-called bioplastic, a polymer material from renewable organic sources. It is used here and is applied in many new G-Shocks and Pro-Treks. This material is as strong as the previous polymer, but it is made with greater protection for our environment. And don't worry, it is of course the same in quality and reliability. I would note here, of course, regarding the case, that it has become visually smaller. Of course, today there will be a comparison with the previous flagship Mudmaster. This is the GWG-B1000 series. Before this, they were precisely the most advanced flagships. But now we see a smaller version, a version with Bluetooth. The main addition, perhaps. But besides this, it is worth noting the retained sapphire crystal, flat, with anti-reflective coating, plus additionally protected from some side impacts. Well, in terms of reliability, it is 200 meters of water resistance, it is shock resistance, it is protection from dust and dirt, but here they also specifically added protection against vibration effects. Plus the case also has a DLC coating, which was not present in previous Mudmaster models. Well, let's finally get to the dial. And here, besides the 3 main hands, the thick hour hand, the minute hand, the yellow second hand, besides this electronic display, where now the day of the week, month, and date are shown, we can optionally input the pressure change graph, duplicate the analog time, the day of the week, and essentially the date. In general, all of this can be changed, but 2 hands, again, taking the previous version, and we see that there was only mode indication, 1 hand. Here there are 2 hands and neither is about indication. What are they for? We will figure it out now. Firstly, the triple sensor is preserved. That is, it's an altimeter, measuring altitude with a graph. It's a compass. And the compass, I would note here also with an innovation. While the second hand points to the north magnetic pole, the hand around 3 o'clock also moves. Pay attention. What does this hand around 3 o'clock show us? It will show us the direction to a special point that we set in the app. That is, we will move, let's say, to this set point. The small hand will point to it and the second hand will still point north. Now, they are pointing in the same direction, but naturally, if you set the point not exactly north, the hands will point in different directions. Well, the barometer also remains. Yes, here is solar, meaning solar battery. You saw the letter M was there, medium charge, charge level L, MH, here they are, indicated around 9 o'clock. This hand is already used for pressure and height difference readings. So the barometer, now it has just set to 0. Well, for example, if our pressure changes, let's say we are traveling, at some point we had a pressure of 970, and we remembered it, and then we traveled some distance and the pressure became, let's say, 1000. And this arrow will now show that the pressure has increased. Also with altitude. Thermometer, naturally, with divisions. Altimeter recording, all of this remains. Sunrise, sunset. Now that's a new feature, because once again, the previous Mudmaster did not have this functionality. The stopwatch remains unchanged. 0.01 accuracy, measurement up to 24 hours. The timer remains unchanged, measurement up to 60 minutes. You can set it by the minute, but the accuracy is by the second. That is, we can set 1 minute, 2, but stop at any second. And here, the timer is still set by the Smart Access crown. By the way, I like the crown here less. You know, with the ProTrek 2000, with the Mudmaster 2000, of course. Why am I mixing them up? Because these G-Shocks, they really also fit into this kind of hiking style. So with the previous Mudmaster 2000, somehow it looked more interesting, I think. Here it's a bit simpler, but oh well. We pull it out and easily set this timer. As you understand, all this is done as easily as possible. And don't forget to screw it back in so that water and dirt don't get inside. By the way, I also noticed that the buttons press a bit harder than on the previous Mudmaster. I think this is due to the addition of extra gaskets, as far as I understand, for additional protection. World time. Here we have an increased number of cities, plus in the app it's up to 300 in total. So the world time mode has also improved. The number of alarms remains at 5. This is multiband 6, meaning radio signal reception. It was also in the previous version. Well, in terms of functionality, there are additional changes that make these Mudmasters significantly more suitable for such expedition conditions. 3 versions have been released: the classic black, one with a red strap, and one in dark green khaki. All these features are great, of course, but the main thing is the addition of Bluetooth. This is what I think the series was released for, to make using the watch easier. And there indeed a range of possibilities opens up for us. Easy time setting, recording points, locations, just like I was telling you about the compass, and you can even change the display functionality, add, modify modes, and also phone search. So, standard things like that. I would also note that this is already Japan. If with the previous Mudmaster 2000 we clearly saw that they were assembled in Thailand, then here the model already has Japanese origin, which of course cannot but please. The luminescent material on the hands, on the numbers, and on the indices, everything is clearly readable. The backlight activates, smoothly turns on, and smoothly fades out. Pay attention. In the previous version there was no smooth on and off. So here, of course, the difference is also evident. On my wrist, the Mudmaster still looks quite large. And here we have a height of 58.7 millimeters, a width of 52.1 millimeters, and a thickness of 16.2 millimeters. By the way, the thickness hasn't changed at all, but the height and width have decreased. They've decreased, but visually, they still remain watches for perhaps larger wrists, somewhere from 17.5 centimeters and up, especially since the strap here is designed for up to 22 millimeters. Double holes, pleasant texture, and this green khaki shade looks very, very beautiful in person. Steel buckle, branded steel keeper, everything is as always of high quality. The overall weight is small, 114 grams. Undoubtedly, first and foremost, a model for hiking conditions for those who love to go into the forest, climb mountains, or perhaps engage in fishing. In general, for all those who love interacting with nature, because these watches are not afraid of such interaction at all. In the city, they can also be used, I think, either as a summer option on a bare wrist, again on a large one, or as an option with some leather or textile jacket. And of course, I like the commercial. It's very interestingly done, a person gets into trouble and two others who by a stroke of luck happened to be nearby went in the Mudmaster, I don't know, to rescue the one in trouble. Well, actually, all the functions are clearly shown, how they can be applied in practice. And overall, the model, of course, turned out great. I really liked that it became less bulky, yet it retained that Mudmaster spirit. Still maximum reliability, durability, and the functionality has even expanded. I think there's no need to list it all again. Everything here is packed to the max, plus it's all packed into this sturdy carbon steel body, also with polymer material. As for which model to choose, well, that's probably up to you. The functionality has improved, the size is smaller. Although there's not much difference in price, that is, I wouldn't say that the new GWG-B1000 are significantly more expensive. They cost about the same as the GWG-2000 series. So if you were looking for something like this, portable and extremely durable, these series will suit you perfectly. Well, the GWG-B1000 also has a wide range of functions to boot, so I consider it a wonderful new product of 2023 from G-SHOCK. In the end, I'd like to know your opinion about this model. Be sure to leave it in the comments under the video, and if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That's all. Goodbye, everyone.